It's the final game of the season and the final Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week here from Berger Stadium in downtown Austin, Texas. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis, and you've tuned into a good one, folks. Fighting for their playoff lives, it's the Crockett Cougars taking on the second-place team district in 12-5A, the Dripping Springs Tigers. Michael, we're going to have a fun one tonight, aren't we?
Oh, it's going to be an exciting game to start. I'm sure that Drip is going to come in here fired up, wanting to finish the district in a strong second place. In the event that Seguin is defeated this week by LBJ, but I don't really look for that to happen. But, you know, surprisingly, going back and reviewing the district matchups and the schedules is the teams up at the top didn't run away from one another scoring-wise. You know, there was just a matter of a touchdown or a point or two that separated the wins and losses. So surprisingly, the teams that are within the top five, and you have Crockett and McCallum actually kind of tied for fourth. They're both 3-0 in district coming into tonight. McCallum's got their hands full with I believe it's Travis that they're taking on tomorrow night. And, of course, Crockett has their hands full with Dripping Springs. Out of the two teams, definitely Crockett has the uphill battle.
Yeah, Crockett trying to bounce back from a loss last week, 42-3 to McCallum. And McCallum, who kind of took that edge for the final playoff spot with that victory last week on homecoming for McCallum, they do go ahead and put themselves in the driver's seat for an opportunity to claim that final spot. Crockett here playing to win that final playoff spot. Dripping Springs looking to position themselves in for the 1 seed. Well, we're going to take a moment here and pause for the national anthem as the coin toss was won and electing to receive were the Crockett Cougars. Action will start after the national anthem.
The national anthem is being performed by the David Crockett Cougar Marching Band.
A nicely done rendition of the national anthem by the Crockett Cougar Marching Band. Once again, I'm Karl Schoening, joined by Michael Francis here on Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week, brought to you by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. It's the Dripping Springs Tigers, who are 7-2 overall and 5-1 in District 12-5A, taking on the Crockett Cougars, who are 4-5 overall and 3-3 in District 12-5A. Did I get that right? Did I say Dripping Springs before that? Crockett Cougars.
Right.
Dripping Springs is
7-2, 5-1.
5-1, and Crockett Cougars are
4-5
and
3-3.
3-3 here as we will get things going. The Crockett Cougars will be kicking it away. The Dripping Springs Tigers will be kicking it away wearing the gray uniforms with maroon numbers and white helmets. The Cougars wearing gold helmets, black jerseys with white outlining of black numerals. So nice of them to at least make those a little more visible for us.
Right. I thought it was kind of some off gold color. Maybe it's kind of brown, but brown on black doesn't really stand out.
kind of look a little bit like Saints alternate jerseys in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, absolutely.
Isaiah Guajardo is back deep to receive this kickoff. It will be sent away and end over end by De La Cruz. It will roll into the end zone, and Guajardo will have to try and take it from out of the end zone, and he will only get to the 7-yard line as he had that one bounce behind him, and that will go ahead and be where the Cougars starting with 11:53 left to go in the first quarter. The Crockett Cougars start their first offensive series. They're led by the quarterback, Joseph Lopez.
So kind of surprising, Karl, to see him actually bring it out of the end zone and get to, the 9-yard line and or the 8-yard line when he would have been on the 25 had he taken a knee.
Yeah, a little surprised by that choice, and here it is, 1st and 10 from the 8. Lopez will keep it, he hands it off to Baca. Baca runs left and gets to the 11-yard line. Picks up 3 yards on first down, and it'll be 2nd and 7 coming up. Tackle was made by Jacob Joy, the junior linebacker, and that's going to be what you see a lot of tonight for the Crockett Cougars, a lot of running. They like to keep the ball on the ground. It's Lopez in the shotgun. On 2nd and 7 from the 11, man goes in motion, and a keeper for Lopez, and he is brought down from behind in the backfield. The tackle made by Kevin Peridor. The senior defensive lineman was able to put pressure on immediately and wasn't fooled by the fake handoff.
Well, interesting to see in the first 2 plays, Karl. They test the outside to test the speed of the defense. Defense shuts them down. They test up the middle and were unable to make anything work on that and actually lose yardage.
It was a loss of 2, 3rd and 9 here on the first offensive series for the Cougars. Lopez in the offset pistol will drop back to pass. He's going to take it and run as he finds a hole, crosses the 20, gets the first down, and is brought down at the 23-yard line. So Lopez, who works, I believe, a design draw right there. If it wasn't, it ought to have been because he finds the first down.
Right, yeah, he definitely sold it well as a read option play, but then tucked it in and runs, and definitely giving the appearance that it was indeed a designed play.
Baca to the left, Jones to the right here for Lopez, and on a draw he hands it off to Andrew Jones, and Jones is wrapped up and is taken down a yard behind the line of scrimmage to the 23-yard line, loss of 1. Peridor with the stop, and the run game, as we talked about, is what the scouting report says, but they've tried a couple draw plays here to try and keep the linebackers away from the trenches. 2nd and 11. Lopez in the offset pistol will hand it off to Jones, and Jones tries to follow his right guard, but he's actually tackled for a loss to the 22-yard line.
Tiger defense doing an outstanding job so far, Karl, closing up the gaps on the running back plays where he actually hands the ball off. Except for that design draw play, they really haven't been able to move the ball.
Baca offset to the right of Lopez. And it's a play action rolling out to the right as Lopez. He's under pressure, evades one tackle, takes it back over to the left side, and he looks for room down the left sideline, crosses the 20, and a flag comes in. This looks like it could be a face mask on the defensive player who came in and made the tackle. The tackle was made by Jacob Joy, but let's see what the flag's about.
Tackle for a loss on the play by number 41, Jacob Joy. However, there is a flag on the play.
That is a loss back to the 20-yard line. And it is a face mask, and that 15-yard penalty keeps the Crockett drive alive. Otherwise, it would have been 4th down.
So lucky to breathe new life there as Dripping desperately trying to contain that outside lane where he was picking up yardage.
First and 10 from the 40. 2 men in the backfield here with Lopez. He tosses it to Baca, and Baca takes it across the 40 to the 43-yard line. And a pickup of 3 on first down. Crockett trying to stay ahead of those chains.
I think they're finding they're having a tough time actually trying to power the ball up the middle, so they're trying to utilize the outside lanes and trying to develop those plays in order to get positive yards.
2nd and 7 from the 43. This time it's Jones trying to push forward, but he's hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped back by a slew of Tigers. No gain on the play.
Well, they definitely built a wall right there, and he wasn't able to move it much. I think maybe he got, maybe 2 feet worth of real estate.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a play here on 3rd and 7 from the 43 to keep this drive alive. Trips to the right, single receiver to the left. Lopez in the shotgun. Baca to his right, and it's a pass out to the flats, dropped and incomplete. The intended receiver unable to come up with a low pass was Christian Rivera, and that brings up 4th down and the punting unit.
Yeah, the quarterback was unable to set his feet, and the ball goes to the ground, and the receiver didn't have a chance to make the catch.
Lane Domini is back deep to receive this punt, and he comes up, takes it at the 30, finds room down the left hash marks across the 40, the 45, 50, finds a hole at the 45, and lowers his shoulder pads to the 43-yard line. And in plus territories where the Dripping Springs Tigers will have their first offensive series with 7:30 left in the first quarter. The Tigers trying to get on the scoreboard first, and they have really good field positioning to start off.
Well, I think the Crockett defense is going to have their hands full with Pruitt, the quarterback from Dripping Springs. He's got a heck of an arm.
Tanner Pruitt will come out in the shotgun. Jacob Cox lined up to his left. 2 receivers on either side from the left hash mark. 1st and 10 from the 43. A pass out on a slant, caught and being shoved out of bounds after making the catches. Parker Alford, a big target, and he's near the first down. He picks up that and a couple more yards to the 31-yard line. And moving the chains on the first play are the Dripping Springs Tigers. Pruitt sends a man in motion to be a fullback. Out of the shotgun, it's a handoff, and Cox will take it behind his left guard, get across the 25 to the 23-yard line. Gain of 9, 2nd and 1 here as the running game gets going too. So 2 very efficient plays to start off for the Dripping Springs Tigers. They want to keep the tempo fast. Pruitt, zone read, hands it off to Cox, who has blocking on the right side across the 20 to the 15, down inside the 15 to the 12. And that's a first down for the Tigers. The Tigers into the red zone. Dripping Springs keeping the tempo going. 3 receivers to the left. Dropping back is Pruitt. Scanning across the field. Fires to the left side. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Ty Katz. And the clock stops at 6:40 here in the first quarter as knocking on the door are the Tigers. That'll slow down the tempo a little bit here after the incomplete pass, and 2 receivers lined up on both sides. Cox in the backfield with Pruitt. He's in the shotgun. 2nd and 10, ball on the 12, and new instructions come from the sideline with 10 seconds left on the play clock. Zone read, handoff to Cox, who takes it wide right across the 5, looking for the end zone, and he stopped just short at about the half-yard line. 1st and goal from the 1.
Tell you what, he had that wide open lane, and it looked like he was going to be able to dance into the end zone. But Crockett able to cut him off, like you said, with about a yard to go and bring him down.
The ball placed on the 1. Pruitt in the shotgun, Cox to his right 2 men in at fullback. It looks like it's going to be a run to the right. Instead, it's a play action, keeping it, lowering his shoulder pads, getting into the end zone. 1 yard touchdown run for Tanner Pruitt, and the Tigers strike first.
Takes the ball in for a Dripping Springs touchdown.
Very methodical in working their way down the field and picking up sizable yardage with each play.
Coming in for the point after attempt and kicking it through and good. And the Dripping Springs Tigers take a 7-0 lead over the Crockett Cougars. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. It was a quick series for the Crockett Cougars that the drive was kept alive thanks to a face mask call, and then just marching down the field after starting in plus territory. A 43-yard touchdown drive by the Dripping Springs Tigers makes this a 7-0 ball game. 6:06 left in the first quarter. Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week, brought to you by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press.
Definitely been good to have those sponsors all season long supporting high school football here in the Austin area.
We appreciate all of our sponsors. Desi De La Cruz will kick this one away from the 40, end over end kick that bounces at the 10 and will roll out of bounds at the 5. And tell you what, that might have been very close to one of the craziest onside kicks you could see, because there were Tigers down there almost able to pick it up, and that's a touchdown if they pick it up. And
right.
The Cougars were content letting it go to the sideline to start at the 30.
Yeah, that could have been a weird turn of events, wouldn't it?
I don't think I've ever seen that, but I believe that's the case, right? It goes 10 yards.
It goes 10 yards. It's free game.
Cougars starting at their own 30, 1st and 10, trailing by 7. Joseph Lopez in the shotgun. He has Nick Baca to his right. It's a pass across the middle, incomplete, as I believe they were looking for a connection to Patrick Ray, and it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 here.
Well, Cole Cavender, his eyes got as big as saucers. He thought for sure he might have had an interception right there.
Yeah, but instead it falls incomplete. Clock stops at 6:01. 2nd and 10 here in the first quarter. The Cougars trying to move the chains from their own 30. Lopez will send a man in motion and hand it off to Andrew Jones takes it over to the left side, gets to the 36-yard line, picks up 6 yards on 2nd down, and will make this a 3rd and manageable as he was able to find some space on the left side.
That was a great job by Jones, bouncing from tackler to tackler and picking up the positive yardage that he got. It was a hard-fought 6 yards.
Jones lined up to the right, Baca lined up to the left. Lopez in the shotgun. 3rd and 4, a handoff to Jones, and Jones is hit at the line of scrimmage, is able to get 1 step forward for about a gain of 1, but he is brought down on the play, and the tackle will make this a 4th down coming up, as the tackle was made by Hayden Dahl, one of the names to watch here for the Tigers. They're going to go for it here as they get looks from the sidelines. You can't fall behind with the run offense that they have that burns a lot of clock.
Well, the thing is, do you go in there with a hard count and try to draw Dripping Springs off sides?
Perhaps that might be a possibility. That would pick up a 1st down, but instead Lopez will drop back on 4th down and fire it. It's intercepted. And coming up with the INT for the Tigers is Hunter Northup, and the junior linebacker will get the turnover and get his team started with even better field position they had on their previous drive that led to a touchdown. From the 40, the Tigers take over on the interception.
Well, Tigers having the advantage to start with a short field for both possessions so far, Karl.
Pruitt will come back out. 2 receivers on both sides. Cox lined up to his right. In the shotgun, 1st and 10 from the Cougars' 40-yard line. A 3-step drop, a pass deep down the middle of the field and just off the fingertips of his intended receiver, Parker Alford, and that would have been a 40-yard touchdown if he was a fraction of a second more in sync with his receiver.
He led him just a bit too far, and he had to reach up with that one hand and tried to make a one-handed catch, but was unable to bring it in, as you mentioned.
Clock stops at 4:21 after the incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 here for the Tigers. Pruitt with 2 receivers on either side. A zone read, hands it off to Cox, but Cox unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. He loses a yard. The tackle made by the big man up front. That's Brandon Hernandez, and 3rd and 11 here as the Crockett defense is starting to pick it up.
That's the first negative play for the Tigers tonight.
The clock keeps going, under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Trips right, single receiver to the left. Alford goes in motion and heads back to the right side. It's a screen set up for Alford on the right side. He's bottled up, and he'll be brought down from behind. Making the tackle is Christian Rivera, and that brings up 4th down and a stop for the Crockett defense.
That was a great stand for the Cougars, especially having Dripping Springs with a shortened field.
Guajardo will go back to receive this kick. Punting it away for Dripping Springs will be Cameron O'Bannon. Takes a rugby-style 3 steps to the right kick and will send this one out of bounds, angled all the way back to the 20. Given the 21 is where, no, it will.
That's actually the 4-yard line.
Okay, wrong official there was waving his hands. So I thought that would have been a very generous spot there as it goes out of bounds. But they do give him the 4.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, they took 16 yards away from him.
There was an official waving his hands asking for a football at the 20, and they will put it at the 4. So Dripping Springs with a punt that will really put the Crockett Cougars deep. 96 yards in front of the Cougars. They're starting from their own end zone. Lopez in the shotgun with his feet on the goal line. A handoff to Andrew Jones, and Jones able to find some space behind his right guard across the 5 to the 9-yard line. A gain of 5 on 1st down.
That was a good first play call right up the middle, and was able to make some penetration and pick up those 5 yards, which is something they haven't been able to do right up the middle on Drip so far tonight.
Lopez in the shotgun. Sends Bach out to the left. Jones lined up to his right. Baca goes in motion left to right. He gets it on the end around, running around the right end. He's able to get past the line of scrimmage, get out to the 20 for the 1st down before he is brought down on the play. Clock stops at 2:19 to move the chains, and the Cougars finding a little rhythm in their running game.
Tigers playing with a 3-man front and then bringing 2 linebackers up on the outside. And the Cougars able to work through and get to the outside lane beyond those linebackers.
Baca in the backfield with Lopez. He gets it on a delayed handoff, taking it around right end across the 30 to the 35 and brought down just shy of the 40. Tackle made to stop the run by Cole Cavender, but a 1st down for the Cougars. So consecutive 1st downs on 2 plays here for the Cougars as they try to claw their way back, trailing by 7 here with 1:44 left in the first quarter. Lopez in the shotgun. Sends a man in motion and hands it off to Jones, who's in the backfield with him. He gets some good blocks to the right side across the 40 to the 45-yard line, and it's a gain of 6 there for Andrew Jones.
Jones on the carry for 6 yards, bringing up a 2nd and 4. Jones was tackled by
Clock still moving here, a minute 20 left in the first quarter.
By a host of Tigers.
Baca to the left, Jones to the right of Lopez here in the shotgun. 2nd and 4 from the 45. Cougars in their own territory. It'll be Lopez keeping it, darts around his offensive line, and is stopped just short of the first down at the 48-yard line.
Quarterback keeper by Lopez. Brings the ball down.
3rd and 1 here as Lopez shows off his wheels.
Tackled by number 41, Jacob Joy.
40 seconds left on the game clock, 25 seconds left on the play clock here, as Lopez has a jumbo set in the backfield with him. Fakes the handoff to Jones, gives to Baca, and Baca's able to find the first down as he's pushed back at the 49-yard line. Stop made by Cole Cavender, but the first down picked up by Baca.
Make it right at the 50-yard line right now. They break on the other side of this. Will be the first time they've been over the 50 so far tonight.
And that will be the final play of the first quarter. A high possession ball club, the Crockett Cougars. They're not even going to fake like they're going to take the last play. And very rarely do you see this, but the only people that really need to move are the chain gang. They have to do
Right.
they have to do the longest distance of walk here as we flip fields. After one complete, the Dripping Springs Tigers lead the Crockett Cougars 7-0, but the Cougars trying to get this run game going and tie this ball game up. Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis on Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week by SHN Sports, presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. And, you know, we talk about it. Both teams starting to find their rhythm here. We could be in for a good offensive match here. Probably not too high scoring because they both rely on their run game.
Oh, and you're seeing that so far. Only 7 points scored in the first quarter from a very, very prolific Dripping Springs offense.
Start of the second quarter. It is 1st and 10 from the 50 for the Crockett Cougars. Lopez in the shotgun, Baca to his right, Jones to his left. A zone read and a handoff to Baca, who tries to stretch it out to the left side. Finds a little room before he cuts to the sideline. The official there on the sideline gives him the 49, and for the first time this evening, the Cougars are in Tigers territory.
Bring up a 2nd and 9.
And because he runs out of bounds, the clock stops at 11:53 here in the second. Lopez in the shotgun. Jones to his left. Baca goes in motion. A triple option action here as Andrew Jones gets the handoff and takes down the right side. Nobody in front of him as he crosses the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Cougars! Andrew Jones takes it 49 yards, and it's a point after attempt away from tying this one up with the Cougars up, trailing 7-6.
Tell you what, an exciting run as he broke free, leading his tackle leading the way, and he actually had his hand on the shoulder of his tackle, gets him to execute that final block that busts him free, and then he out races the Tiger secondary the rest of the way in.
Point after attempt here is through the uprights and good. And we have a tie ball game. 19 seconds come off the clock here in the second quarter, and the Crockett Cougars tie it at 7 after that point after attempt sent through by Brandon Hernandez. We're tied at 7, and you guys tuned into a good one for the final game of the season. The Crockett Cougars trying to do what they can to stay alive in this playoff race as they're on the outside looking in, and a win tonight would at least give them a chance, an opportunity to go into the playoffs for District 12 5A.
The only thing that's really hurting them right now is the head-to-head loss with McCallum, where McCallum defeated the Cougars last week 42-3.
Yeah, that was a good game here on SHN Sports. Despite the score, it was an entertaining one. And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Minuteman Press, Georgetown Jewelry. Go ahead and check them out. Any of your jewelry needs, Georgetown Jewelry. Any of your printing needs, Minuteman Press.
Oh, absolutely. Ty Gibson and all the guys. Ricky Poe at Georgetown Jewelers.
Ball will be kicked away by Mateo Williams. Back deep to receive Ticats and Parker Alford. Tied up at 7. 11:41 left in the second quarter. Dripping Springs looking to get the ball back. This one sent high and short, taken by Alford on the right side across the 25 to the 30 to the 40, and he's wrapped up at the 45, but carries his defender with him to midfield and gets all the way to the Cougar 49-yard line, and that's good starting field position for the Dripping Springs Tigers as they will start at the Cougars 49-yard line trying to regain the lead.
Well, that's the third time that the Cougars, I mean not the Cougars, but the Tigers are starting with a short field.
Yeah, we got a battle of cats tonight here.
I had the same thing last week in Rockdale with Gerald, the Cougars and Tigers. Same cats.
A offsides will stop the play here as you could see on the screen, a barrel roll done by the entire defensive line of the Crockett Cougars, and they were trying to jump the snap and mistimed it by a fraction of a second there, and I think the center tried to catch them offsides and went ahead and snapped it, and the officials just blew the play dead before anything dangerous could happen. So that'll be 1st and 5 after the offsides penalty. From the 44, it's a run play to the right side, and
Pruitt
keeps it to the 30-yard line and picks up the first down for Dripping Springs.
Dripping Springs really working quickly, Karl.
Yeah, Pruitt right back on top of it. Will lob it towards the 10. Caught and pushed out of bounds. A good catch there by Enzo Arnold. And into the red zone inside the 10 are the Dripping Springs Tigers.
Now, they're not fooling around with this possession at all.
No, after a 3 and out on their last possession in the first quarter, trying to retake the lead of the Tigers. Pruitt sends a man in motion from the shotgun. He hands it off, and on the end around, taking it into the end zone for a touchdown is Parker Alford. 6 yards on the play, and Dripping Springs, in a hurry, retakes the lead. See, I also do the scoreboard operating here, and it's hard to do both, especially when the offense doesn't give me an opportunity to look down at my screen. And right there, they were able to take advantage of just being a very well-conditioned team. The extra point kicked through and good, and Dripping Springs retakes the lead. It's been a fun one here as Dripping Springs, when they get their offense rolling, kind of look like the old school Oregon Ducks.
Well, what's good about it is, just a few weeks ago, we called the Austin High Hayes game, which was a back and forth battle, and it was an incredible game. And tonight it kind of feels like that same type of atmosphere, especially with a playoff hope still on the line.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I believe the final score was 48-47 as Hayes surprisingly had to hold on and make a defensive stop afterwards. And crazy ball game. Hopefully we're in for another crazy ball game tonight as the ensuing kickoff here. Dripping Springs will kick it off. Back deep to receive is Isaiah Guajardo, and he will field it at the 15, looking for room down the left hash mark. He evades a couple tackles. He slides across the 25 and gets to the 28-yard line. That's where the Crockett Cougars will start off as they trail 14-7. See if the Cougars can answer back.
Well, they definitely have the firepower to be able to do it. I mean, Jones on that scamper that he had a while ago proved that he could outpace the Tiger defense.
Clock at 10:55 here. Play clock at 15 seconds. The Cougars trying to figure out the play. They might have to burn a timeout. They do. So taking a timeout will be John Way and the Crockett Cougars, as they had a little miscommunication, and that's not how you want to start a drive after falling behind to a high-power offense.
No, not at all. I mean, it's not like you're trying to slow the pace of the game down. You're trying to get things started. So before you even take the first snap of the possession, you're having to call a timeout.
And they go ahead and burn their first timeout of the half. 3 timeouts, all 3 timeouts left for the Tigers. 10:55 left in the second quarter. And the Cougars coming off of a, as you alluded to earlier, 59-yard touchdown run by Andrew Jones will start this drive at their own 28-yard line. Joseph Lopez in the shotgun. He has Baca to his left, Jones to his right. Jeremiah Moore, the fullback. A fake handoff to Baca, handoff to Jones, takes it around the left end, across the 35 to the 40, the first down, all the way to the 43-yard line. And Crockett finding a real good rhythm with their offense, especially when they fake the handoff. It's kind of a shotgun triple option because Lopez can keep it every now and again and maybe follow the blocker.
Well, they're doing a good job of following their blocks.
1st and 10 from their own 42. It's a handoff to Andrew Jones, and Jones had to dance in the backfield and lowers his shoulder, get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Good job by the Dripping Springs defense to cut off all running lanes and made it hard for Jones to do anything, and he was just diving back to that line of scrimmage to make sure he didn't lose any yards. 2nd and 10 from the 43. A draw play after faking a screen out to the right side, a handoff to Andrew Jones, and Jones able to get to the 43-yard line for a pickup of 1 and a 3rd and 9 here for the Crockett Cougars.
Good turnout by both fan bases tonight.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to come out to these Thursday night games, but always good to see the crowds in, and obviously you can always watch this game online. 3rd and 9. Lopez will drop back for a pass scans to the left, thought about running, and now rolls out to the left side, and he is brought down, tackled behind the line of scrimmage. The tackle made by Hayden Dahl, and unable to find a receiver was Joseph Lopez. 4th down coming up.
Yeah, that's a huge 8-yard loss.
And that will make the punting unit come out for the Crockett Cougars. Back deep to receive is Lane Domini, and punting it away will be Robert Dagernoff, and the punt goes out of bounds around the 35. See where it's angled out. The ref keeps going, and he'll keep it right there at the 35, I guess, right. What do you know?
Good call on that one, Karl.
You know, I think sometimes they just make it nice and even, the 35.
Well, it's not necessarily an exact science.
Right? It's one of the more inaccurate things in all of sports, actually. The spotting of the football, it's a tough job. And starting from the 35 in their own territory are the Dripping Springs Tigers, leading 14-7. Pruitt in the shotgun. Cox to his right. 2 receivers on either side. Now a man goes in motion, and it'll be a designed quarterback run here for Pruitt. Takes it around the right side. Evades 1 tackle. Lowers his shoulder across the 50 and gets into Cougar territory at the 45. A huge run for 20 yards on 1st down for Tanner Pruitt.
Yeah, that's the first position that they actually started at their own end of the field.
Man goes in motion. Pruitt decides to keep it again across the 40 to the 35, down to the 30, and brought down at the 26-yard line. And the tackle made by Antonio Castro will make sure that that one doesn't go any further, but still 1st and 10 at the 26 here. Pruitt will drop back to pass, fires down the right sideline. It's caught, diving for the end zone, and
they
will give him the touchdown. That's Enzo Arnold coming up with 6 points for the Dripping Springs Tigers.
There is a flag on the field.
Let's see what this is about.
It's on the near side, way far away from the play, but it looks like it might have been on Crockett.
They do rule it on Crockett. It's declined, and the Dripping Springs Tigers take a 20-7 lead off of the 26-yard touchdown pass from Tanner Pruitt to Enzo Arnold. And, it's one of those things where the kicker is not on our roster yet again, and he'll just be known as number 89, has the play whistled dead here. And as you heard the PA announcer also, we'll just go ahead and call him number 89. 7:59 left in the second quarter. Dripping Springs looking to make it a 2-touchdown lead, and this end-over-end kick is high above the uprights and through the middle good. And a 21-7 lead here, Dripping Springs over the Crockett Cougars. Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis, and man, Dripping Springs, they're fun to watch.
They are fun to watch, and they gave up that touchdown, that 49-yard scamper by Jones, and I bet their defensive coordinator went over there and told them, we're not going to do that again. And their coach on their 3-and-out said, we're not going to let that happen again. We're going to take charge, we're going to do tempo, and we're going to run it down their throats.
Yeah, they were running it faster at any point in these 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, at any point of the offensive series in the first quarter. Guajardo back deep to receive for the Cougars. Ball kicked away by De La Cruz, and Guajardo will take it down the left hash marks. He crosses the 20 and is hit at the 23-yard line. That's where forward progress is marked, and that's where the Cougars will start off. So, 7:49 left in the second quarter. The Cougars trail by 2 touchdowns, get the ball back, start at the 23-yard line in their own territory, and Joseph Lopez and company will have to try and put something together to make sure that they're not trailing by more going into the locker rooms.
Well, it's a tall order when you're down by 2 scores to this Dripping Springs football team.
Lopez in the shotgun. We'll hand it off to Andrew Jones. Jones tries to follow. Blocker stays on his feet after he's hit in the backfield. Gets across the 25 and spins across the 30. Drags defenders with him to the 33-yard line and picks up the first down, gain of 11.
Tell you what, that is an impressive run right there by Jones. He just kept his feet moving, his legs pumping, and carried 3 or 4 defenders along with him to pick up the first down.
And was very patient to find his holes in the backfield after the initial ones clogged up. Clock picks back up at 7:25 here in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 34. Another handoff to Jones, and this time he's hitting the backfield and dropped down. Couple Tigers there on the tackle, and making the initial hit for Dripping Springs was Hunter Northup, and that loss goes all the way back to the 30 for a loss of 4. 2nd and 14 here for the Crockett Cougars. Clock still moves here at 6:50 left in the second. Trips right single receiver to the left. Baca in the backfield. He gets the handoff, runs up the gut, and he is stopped after picking up about half a stride at the line of scrimmage, and they'll give him the 31 for about that half a yard, and he just ran into a wall of Tigers there.
It's tough to run up the middle. It is really tough. You've got Brandon English, the senior down lineman, clogging up the middle, and he's doing a great job plugging up the gaps.
It's a pass play here on 3rd and 13, and the first down picked up. Making the catch there was Messiah Moss, and Lopez makes his first completion of the evening, and it comes at a good time as they pick up the first down to the 47-yard line. They really needed that one because on a 3rd and 13, there wasn't really any way they were going to be able to pick up the first down on the ground without any amount of luck, and the Tigers picking up on the run game. Here's another pass play, and this intercepted there as the corner comes in on the receiver. The catch made by Cole Cavender after it goes off of the intended receiver. That's a turnover here with 5:39 left in the second quarter, and Dripping Springs will take over in Crockett territory at the 45-yard line.
Now, it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. Not necessarily a tip drill, but the pass was to the receiver's hands. It pops out of his hands, and who's there to catch it? Cole Cavender. And he's diving for the play to make the tackle and comes up with the football.
Sometimes it's the harder you work, the luckier you get here, as Pruitt will take over 1st and 10 from the 45 of the Cougar territory. He drops back, stays in the pocket, looks for a pass down the field. He's wrapped up and is brought down on the play. A good tackle made by the Cougars.
That was an incomplete pass.
Oh, excuse me. I did not quite catch up. I was looking to see who wrapped him up there. It was a late hit there not a late hit there, but the pressure was brought on by Kevin Hassine, and incomplete will bring up 2nd and 10. Here's a pass and a catch down the right sideline. About the 3rd time they've completed that play to Enzo Arnold. Flag on the play, though, might bring this one back.
I think it's going to be offsides.
It is offsides that goes against Crockett, and it'll be whistled, or it'll be declined, and the completed pass will be the result of the play. The ball brought all the way down to the 23-yard line. Clock stops to move the chains at 5:25 left in the second quarter. Clock picks back up here as Pruitt looking to get into the red zone for the Tigers. He drops back, scans to the left, fires to the right sideline. It's caught into the end zone. A touchdown for Cameron O'Bannon, and that's a 22-yard touchdown to put the Tigers ahead 27-7.
Drip really flexing their muscle right now, Karl. You know, they're coming off a big victory last week versus Reagan, where they shut Reagan out 44-0. So they definitely have the firepower.
The point after attempt by the kicker known as number 49 will go ahead and send it through, and 28-7, your new score. The Dripping Springs Tigers have the lead over the Crockett Cougars. 5:11 left in the second quarter. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. This is the Austin ISD Thursday night game of the week, and you're seeing why Dripping Springs is second place in the district, and they're showing some really impressive up-tempo offense.
Well, this is how close it was. Seguin is sitting atop of District 12 5A right now. They're 6-0 in district, but the win that they got over the same Dripping Spring Tigers, 42-39 overtime victory.
Wow.
So it was tied going through the end of the 4 quarters regulation and goes into overtime and ends up winning the game 42-39.
Wish we had done that one, but that's not an Austin ISD game, but it would have been a fun one.
Definitely.
The ensuing kickoff will go to Guajardo, and he backpedals at the 5. He'll have to regain momentum as he crosses the 15, finds some space across the 20. A flag comes in as he crosses the 30, and he's brought down at the 35. Usually this is in the area of a block in the back, but for now the ball will be spotted at the 38-yard line. Let's see where the officials do call the hold, and that will back up from the spot of the foul, see where they eventually end up. The Cougars will be having an unfavorable field position once again to start off their drive, with 5 minutes even left here in the first half. 2 timeouts left for the Cougars, all 3 timeouts left for the Tigers if they wanted to maybe start playing possession ball at some point here.
Evidently the hold took a place just about where he took possession.
And the ball will be spotted at the 12-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars from their own 12. Jones in the shotgun. Zone read gives to Baca. Baca running around the left side, spins at the 20 and is brought down after picking up the first down at the 24-yard line. The tackle made by Austin Huon, and the first down picked up by the Cougars.
Hey, well, this first half has gone by quick.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a team like the Cougars who run it almost every play. And here's another handoff as Andrew Jones takes it behind his right tackle, gets to the 26-yard line, and picks up 3 yards.
He took a heck of a shot there at the end of the run that turned him 45 degrees.
And one of the punishments that you take getting the ball all the time as a running back and having to deal with some of those big guys right there that are chasing you. 2nd and 7 from the 26-yard line. It's a pitch to Baca. Baca looks for a hole and just falls as he slips back at the initial line of scrimmage for this series of downs, and he loses yards back to the 23.
Attempting to make his cut, and his feet slip right out from underneath him. He tried to put his hand down and keep his knee from touching the ground, but it was unsuccessful.
And by that time, the defense had already collapsed on him, so he will have to deal with the chains being moved back here. 3rd and 10, Lopez will drop back for a pass, and he's under pressure, and a face mask will not be called here as he loses the ball, goes out of bounds. I was watching through my binoculars, and pressuring right there was, I believe, Kevin Peridor, and he got a whole bunch of face masks there. Able to evade that tackle, though, was Lopez, and then he loses the ball out of bounds. Or they'll rule that an incomplete pass, but that'll bring up 4th down.
Which was surprising because he was in the grasp and going down and throws it into the turf and didn't get a intentional grounding call on it. I know he was out of the box, but he didn't even throw it out of bounds.
Didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, I don't think, but it's a fake punt here as, just trying to get rid of it, and good job there. Is now coming up and taking it will be Lane Dominy, and Dominy will get across the 50 to the Crockett 47. Good job by Robert Daggerath there as he was able to evade pressure, and I think at first it might have been a design fake, but he realized he wasn't going to pick up the 1st down and got that punt off, and it ended up being a fairly decent punt. But still starting in Cougar territory are the Dripping Springs Tigers on a roll right now. They've scored on their last 3 possessions.
Well, that's the one thing that rugby-style punt affords you, is the ability to take it, to see what your options are if you can. Go for the fake. If not, then punt it away.
3:12 left in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 47. Pruitt will drop back, fires over the left side. It's completed to Cox, and they get it back to the line of scrimmage on the completion. No gain on the play. And now I beg your pardon, that was not Cox. That was actually Brock Bollinger, his first completion of the game, first touch of the football tonight. And it looks like a little bit of a mist is picking up on the field. Pruitt, 2nd and 10 from the Crockett 47 zone. Reed gives it off to Cox, and Cox takes it behind his right tackle across the 40, picks up the 1st down to the 35-yard line. And these Tigers like to keep this tempo fast here. They'll let the chain gang move, and 2:30 left in the second quarter. Pruitt will be in the shotgun. And they'll actually slow it down here and get a new play from the sideline. Pitch here forward to Cox. Cox takes it around right end and gets across the 30 to the 25 and brought down after picking up the 1st down at the 21-yard line. I think the Tigers wanted to burn a little bit of clock there to make sure that they don't give Crockett too much time here before going into the locker rooms. Trips to the right, single receiver to the left. Alfred goes in motion as Pruitt drops back and fires to the left side of the end zone. It's incomplete, overthrowing his intended receiver, Ty Katz, and incomplete pass stops the clock at 1:47 left here in the second quarter. Ball at the 21-yard line, so not quite in the red zone. are the Tigers, and they lead at 28-7, trying to build on this lead before halftime. Pruitt in the shotgun. Gets new instructions from the sidelines. Trips to the left, single receiver to the right. Cox will line up to the left side and move back over to the right. And it's a designed quarterback run here for Pruitt across the 20, down to the 10, and into the end zone. A 21-yard touchdown run by Tanner Pruitt, and Dripping Springs takes a 34-27 lead.
Cougars looking for the pass as Pruitt has gone pass for his last couple of scores, and then decides to make the change and take it up the outside and pushes it through for the score.
Getting a lot of work tonight is the man not on the roster, number 89. He kicks through the point after attempt and makes this 35-7. Dripping Springs leading Crockett. 1:38 left in the first half, and it's been all Tigers this evening here on senior night for the Crockett Cougars. Final regular season game of the season. And these Cougars trying to stay alive in the playoff hunt are falling behind in the scoreboard and making it hard on themselves.
You're trailing Dripping Springs 35-7 going into halftime. Your hands are full if you're going to climb back in this and have any shot.
Last week, Chuck Cracy and I were talking about how important it was for Crockett to win against McCallum. McCallum realized how important it was for them to win against Crockett, and there was also homecoming, ironically enough, something scheduled before the season. And here's a squib kick to keep it away from Gajardo, and having to drop on top of it, and no return on the play to the 27-yard line is where the Crockett Cougars will take over. But yeah, unfortunate turn of events here for Crockett, as it looked like they were in the driver's seat the last two games of the season to secure that final playoff spot in 12-5A, but it'll be hard, especially the way they run the football, burning a lot of clock with their possessions to come back tonight. But they still have a lot of time left here. It's a handoff to Jones, who takes it around left end, finds some space to the 30-yard line. They'll give him the 31 for a gain of 3. The clock keeps moving here. They have 2 timeouts left, as Crockett picks up 3 yards on first down. Ball on the 31. 2 men in the backfield with Lopez. And it's a play action. Lopez rolls out to the right, looking down the sidelines. Will just have to throw this one away. Incomplete. The pass goes into the sideline for the Cougars and stops the clock at 58 seconds. Brings up third down.
That's long yardage against these Tigers.
They've done a good job making sure that no receivers really pop open for the Cougars.
You know, we've seen a few penalties in this game so far, Karl, but overall it's been a fairly clean game.
Yeah, very disciplined teams. It's something you like to see this late in the season, as they've figured it out here. Lopez will drop back, scan over to the left side, and it sails over his intended receiver. Incomplete. That pass meant for Robert Palette, and it's incomplete and stops the clock at 53 seconds, and that'll bring out the punting unit.
That'll be interesting to see if they try to sell a fake on this punt.
They tried it last series, at least that's what it appeared, or maybe it was just a Daggerath attempt to keep it from getting blocked. Here returning it will be Domini, and Domini takes it across midfield and is held up at the 46-yard line of the Crockett Cougars. 43 seconds left and all 3 timeouts left for the Dripping Springs Tigers as they take over possession of the football.
It'll be interesting at this point. you know, are you a little conservative, or do you feel like you want to put the dagger in right before halftime to just take all the wind out of the sails?
Right, well, we'll see what they elect to do. Pruitt out there in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides, drops back for a pass, fires across the middle. It's incomplete. Nobody was really there, and almost an interception for the middle linebacker for the Cougars as Alan Lopez was unable to come up with it. It went right through his hands, and I think one of the Dripping Springs receivers was supposed to slant, and they all ran to the end zone. Clock stops at 39 seconds here. 2nd and 10 from the 46. 2 receivers on both sides. Pruitt barks out new instructions. Zone read. It's a handoff, taking it around the left side across the 40 to the 35-yard line. It's Curtis Cox with his first carry of the night. He picks up the first down as it was a prevent defense look by the Cougars, and 1st and 10 here for Dripping Springs. They elect not to use their timeout. Pruitt will just quickly get a play off and fire to the end zone. Incomplete. The pass broken up on a good defensive job by Messiah Moss. The pass intended for Enzo Arnold, and the clock stops at 23 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter.
Pruitt having a tough time setting his feet and actually underthrew that pass.
Pruitt will have another opportunity to pass here. He rolls out to the right, looks for a block as he's going to take it himself across the 30, the 20, the 15, and gets out of bounds at the 13-yard line. 14 seconds left here. Pruitt making the smart play, getting his team into the red zone.
It looks like they're definitely going to continue to go for it and take it to the last second and maybe come in for a field goal if they're unable to get into the end zone.
Clock stopped at 14 seconds there as Pruitt ran out of bounds. Pruitt has Cox to his right in the backfield with him, trips to the left. He'll scan to the left out of the shotgun. It's completed to O'Bannon. O'Bannon gets into the end zone for a 12-yard touchdown. Cameron O'Bannon with his 2nd score of the evening, and the Tigers keep putting it on here. It's 41-7 over the Crockett Cougars. The point after attempt through the uprights and good. And 42-7 your score. 8 seconds left in the first half. It's all Dripping Springs here this evening as they're in playoff mode. And I think, the Cougars came out here with the thought process of we want to try and make it into the playoffs. These Dripping Spring Tigers saying we want to be clicking on all cylinders going into the playoffs, and it's a tough team for the Cougars to run into in the final game of the season.
Well, they're definitely not taking their foot off the gas.
No, they aren't. They went ahead and scored that in under a minute as they took over at the 47, made it a 47-yard touchdown drive, completed by that Cameron O'Bannon 12-yard touchdown pass from Tanner Pruitt. Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis here. The last 8 seconds left of the first half. It'll be a end-over-end kickoff that Guajardo will take at the 7-yard line. Tries to find space down the left hash mark. He's hit at the 15-yard line and brought down. The tackle made by Hunter Northrup, who was unblocked there. It was Guajardo tried to find space, but it was tracked down pretty easily by the linebacker playing special teams.
Well, 3 seconds left in the half, and it'd be interesting to see. I would think that they would just take a knee.
Well, you don't want to risk an interception pick 6 here if you're the Cougars, but you probably want to try and do something to spring things up. The safety's playing deep, and it's just a handoff here to Nick Baca, and Baca bounces around a couple defenders and only picks up 2 yards, and that'll be the final play of the first half. So, after 2 complete here at Burger Stadium in downtown Austin, Texas, it's the Dripping Springs Tigers 42, the Crockett Cougars 7. This game was tied at 7 before Dripping Springs went on a 35 run to send us into the locker rooms. Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. We're going to take a break and air the halftime shows, and we'll be back with the start of the third quarter here on SHN Sports. The Austin ISD Game of the Week presented by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the 31st line of the DSHS High Steppers, under the direction of Tracy Meek and Terry Williams. Performing also tonight are the Dazzlers, JV dance team erected by Terry Williams, and under the field direction of captain of the Dazzlers is Kylan Richardson. The High Steppers are under the field direction of Rookie Sergeant Bailey Llewellyn, Lieutenant Isabella Igaro, Lieutenant Riley Olden, Lieutenant Margaret Marable, First Lieutenant Natalie Green, Captain Natalie Thompson. High Stepper of the Week, sponsored by Sunburst Realty, is Lily Mao. Social Officers Pick of the Week, sponsored by Austin Sign Company and Camp Lucy, is Gemma Folsom. The High Steppers are performing a traditional high kick to the horse. The Dripping Springs Independent School District proudly presents the Dripping Springs Tiger Band. The Tiger Band is under the direction of Derek Woods, assisted by James Hairston, David Duffy, and Jason Dye. Our Dripping Springs Middle School directors are Jay Larson and Lauren Wells. The Sycamore Springs Middle School directors are Jana Galloway and Tamari Sager. This year's head drum major is Catherine Manning. Assistant drum majors are Cassandra Solomon, Jessica Heinz, and Kirsten Irwin. Color guard officers are Captains Sophia Burson and Michaela Coffin. Lieutenants Mary Smith and Jay Berry. Tonight, the Tiger Band will present the popular song Jai Ho from the Oscar-winning film Slumdog Millionaire, followed by the DSHS fight song, Go Tigers.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's halftime entertainment. Let's give a huge round of applause for both schools' band and dance teams for all of their hard work. And now, entering the field, the pride and legacy of Cougar Country. From the heart of South Austin, here is your award-winning Crockett High School Texan dance team. The Texans are under the direction of Mrs. Ginger Gerasik and Miss Amanda Caldwell. Texan officers are Junior Lieutenant Sarah Anguiano, Senior Lieutenant Lupita De Leon, Co-Captain Monica Orduna, and Captain Amy Sanchez. We would like to dedicate our performance tonight to our friends, the Del Valley Cardinal Bells, and ask that you keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And now, Texans with confidence. for the award-winning Crockett Cougar Marching Band. The Crockett Band would like to congratulate Dripping Springs on their successful 2018 marching season. Please join us in celebrating our own marching season as we perform some of our crowd favorites.
Back at Burgers Stadium, I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. Your halftime score, it's all Dripping Springs, the Tigers over the Crockett Cougars 42-7 here on SHN's ISD Thursday Night Football Game of the Week, sponsored by Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press. Another game going on the SHN network. It's Georgetown with a 2-point lead over Conley, the Pflugerville school, being played over at the new field of Pflugerville ISD, and that game live on SHN Sports Network as well. The teams come back out. It's, as you can see from the windows that we have here, the windows don't open. Imagine that concept, windows that open, but it is a bit of a mist, a light drizzle sometimes floating in and out of the area. Nothing to be alarmed about if you're a player. In fact, they will just go ahead and get this game rolling right away as if nothing had happened. If you noticed, the Crockett Cougars marching band sped through their performance, and we had a lot of dead air just for copyright reasons. We couldn't play the music that they were playing over the air, but we thank you for staying tuned here on SHN Sports, as it was Crockett electing to receive to start off this ball game. So receiving in the second half will be the Dripping Springs Tigers here as we get the third quarter underway. Thank you for tuning in tonight on SHN Sports.
So interesting about the field in Pflugerville, as Pflugerville is spelled PF as to start with, and so people call it the P-field.
Yeah, nice little joke there. Is you might have to be from around the area to understand the phonetics of it. Mateo Williams will kick this one away. Sends it high and short, heading towards the right sideline. It's bobbled, and stepping out of bounds as he touched down to pick up the ball with his Ty Katz. And starting at the 29-yard line will be the Dripping Springs Tigers,
which is the worst field position of the night for the Tigers to start with. Previously, it was the 35-yard line.
This was only the second kickoff by Crockett all evening long, and no return there as it was bobbled by Katz. Here comes Tanner Pruitt in the shotgun. 1st and 10 from the 29. He has Cox to his left. Cox fakes to the left and gets the handoff running up the gut, gets past the trenches, and gets forward to the 32-yard line.
Now, as more of the wet stuff falls down, you're probably going to see more and more running game.
I'd be interested to see how much time the Tigers burn off the play clock here as they line up with a 2nd and 7 from their own 32. Pruitt zone read, hands it off to Cox, and Cox is slowed down in the backfield as he was hit by Abel Valera and brought down on the play by Brandon Hernandez. Brings up 3rd and 11. And we saw Crockett force a 3-and-out earlier on the second defensive possession. See if they can do it here on the first possession of the third quarter. Tanner Pruitt will drop back to pass on 3rd and 11. Scans and fires to the right side. Catch is completed to Enzo Arnold, and he is stopped well short of the first down, back to the 33-yard line. He needed the 39, so 4th down coming up, and the punting unit coming out. Crockett forces the 3-and-out. Only a gain of 1 on that play on the completed pass, and it'll be Guajardo back deep to receive this punt. He's waiting around the 30. O'Bannon will punt this from the 20. Rugby-style kick sends this one. It's a beauty of a punt down the right sideline. It bounces at the 20, takes a Tigers roll inside the 15, and is downed at the 14-yard line. So good special teams return and coverage there, or punt and coverage there by the Dripping Springs Tigers, and the Crockett Cougars will be pinned deep. 1st and 10 from their own 14. that did more than flip the field for Dripping Springs. Lopez in the shotgun. He has Baca to his right. It's a handoff to Patrick, and Ray Patrick turns the corner at the 15 and gets to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 6.
I think they're going to spot him at the 19.
They will call the 19, so it was only a gain of 5, and 2nd and 5 here after the end around from Patrick Ray. Second and 5 from the 19. Lopez with 2 men in the backfield with him in the shotgun. And a false start will stop this play and back up the Cougars 5 yards.
Definitely not what you need to happen. You know, it's been relatively free of any false starts today. And I think this may be the actual first false start of the game.
First of the evening, yes, correct. And
We've had a couple of offsides.
Yeah, and a couple holds, and a face mask even tonight. But nothing in terms of a false start.
By either team.
The official taking his time to rule it an offsides, as it was Dripping Springs jumping off. And, I thought that's what caused the flinch, but they rule it an offsides, and that'll be a first down for the Cougars. So they catch a break there and get the ball to move forward 5 yards. 1st and 10 for Crockett. The ball placed to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, it reverts back. Still no false start penalties on the night.
Now whistles will blow this play dead, as there was plenty of time on the play clock, and now a false start will be called. So there you go. And that backs them up 1st and 15. Ball moved back to the 19.
Goes back to where it was.
Rain looks like it's picking up, and that might mean a lot more keeping the ball on the ground to secure possessions. Lopez on the zone read hands it off to Andrew Jones, who turns the corner around his right guard and gets across the 25, fights to the 27-yard line, and picks up 8 yards on 1st and 15. The tackle made by Austin Hewlin, and the clock moves here at 8:35. A end around faked and a handoff to Andrew Jones. Jones tries to stretch to the right side, gets across the 30 and to the 32-yard line. It makes this a 3rd and 3.
Interesting, they're only sending one wide out.
3 men in the backfield as the fullback Morris moves over to the right side. It's a handoff to Baca, who runs up the gut, and he's unable to get to the 35, and depending on the spot, he might not get the first down. They do give him the first down. They move the chains. Clock keeps moving here despite the first down being picked up at 4:45 left in the 3rd quarter. Ball on the 34-yard line, 1st and 10. Lopez hands off to Andrew Jones, who takes it up the middle, drags a couple defenders as he crosses the 40 and is brought down at the 41-yard line. The tackle made by Hunter Northrup, and it's a pickup of 7.
Seeing some defensive substitutions playing here early in the 3rd quarter.
Dripping Springs perhaps resting some of their guys with a comfortable lead. It's an end-around handoff, and running around the right side and picking up the first down is Nick Baca to the 48-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Under 7 minutes to play in the third. The mist is thickening here as Lopez is in the shotgun. Patrick Ray gets the fake handoff, and it'll be a Lopez pass. He's under pressure, is able to avoid out to the right side, completes the pass over to the right sideline, and getting the first down and then stepping out is Patrick Ray. And, Messiah Moss is the one who makes the catch, and it gets to the 38-yard line of the Tigers. New set of downs for the Crockett Cougars. Clock stops at 6:30 as Moss stepped out of bounds. Lopez will come back out in the shotgun. Moore, the fullback. Ray in motion, and it's a handoff up the middle, and Baca unable to find room as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Keeps the clock moving here, 6:10 left in the third. Checking the radar, this rain currently over Burger Stadium is not expected to last long, but there is another cell coming here soon as the snap is a little low and it's a handoff to Jones. Jones is able to escape one tackle, tries to take it to the outside and picks up a yard after the previous play losing a yard. And 3rd and 10 now set up with 5:35 left in the third quarter. Lopez might need to go back to the air despite the rain.
He may need to because it's kind of keeping them really one-dimensional, and so far, Dripping Springs has been able to key on that and keep their running game to a minimum. They've been able to pound it so far. Crockett's going to call timeout.
Yeah, Crockett will talk this one over. We'll keep it here. 5:07 left in the third quarter. The Cougars forced a 3-and-out and started this drive at their own 14. They're able to march it down here to the 38 and have a decision here on how they're going to go about this. As you know, it's probably 4-down territory. This is no man's land where a punt doesn't do you much good, especially trailing 42-7. So maybe just a short pass is the option.
Maybe, definitely so. But you know what? When you buy your jewelry, Karl, where do you want to go?
Oh, Georgetown Jewelry, of course.
Ricky Poe and Georgetown Jewelry, they sponsor Austin ISD football, Thursday night football, have all season long. And if you're looking for good quality jewelry, you can find them in Georgetown.
Big thank you to Georgetown Jewelry for sponsoring AISD football all season. Here is Andrew Jones trying to find a running lane on the right side. He picks up a yard to the 37-yard line, and that brings up a 4th and 9. And the Cougars will stay out there hoping to maybe pick up a little more on that and make this a much more manageable 4th down. And instead will go for it on 4th and 9 from their own 37. Or excuse me, from the Tiger 37. Lopez drops back for a pass, fires quickly out to the left side. It's broken up and incomplete. Knocking out that ball on the coverage was Andre Flores-Perry, and incomplete. It's a turnover on downs. The Dripping Springs Tigers take over, and they lead it 42-7.
And on their last possession, went 3-and-out for only the second time tonight. But after they had that 1 3-and-out, man, they put their foot on the throttle, and they didn't let up till halftime.
New quarterback in the game, that's Zach Timmerland, and he will instruct his receivers out here. And they hand off to his back, taking it around left end, picking up the first down and crossing midfield before he is pushed out of bounds. getting his first handoff of the evening is Scotty Crosby, the junior who is listed as a defensive back on our roster, getting the carry, picking up the first down.
Yeah, it looks as though Dripping Springs has made a wholesale offensive changes to start this series.
Chismilland will pass out to the right side. It's caught, and the completed pass worked just short of the 45 as P.J. Howe will only pick up about a yard on first down. Yeah, working in a lot of new names here. Got to use the full roster this evening as we have 3:35 to play in the third quarter. 2nd and 9 from the 46. Tigers in Crockett territory. Tamajlin will get new instructions from the sidelines with 10 seconds left on the play clock. Scotty Crosby moves over to the right. It's a design quarterback run for Tamajlin. He cuts back to the left side and crosses the 40 to the 35-yard line. He picks up the first down on a gain of 12.
Good for a Tiger first down at the Crockett Cougars 35-yard line.
We might have to look that one up to see how to actually pronounce it, because the PA guy calls him Tamaland.
Chameland is how I'm going to go with. Chameland there in the shotgun, and whistles come in. This might be a false start. Backing up 5 yards it is. Chameland will be how I go with it, but it is spelled T-J-E-L-M-E-L-A-N-D. Chameland, right?
I'm gonna pull it up.
See if Google Translate knows. 1st and 15 from the 40. Chameland. Zone read will hand it off, and taking around left end across the 35 to the 30 is Curtis Cox, and he picks up 6 yards on, or excuse me, he picks up 14 yards. I beg your pardon, one more time. Picks up 10 yards on first down, 2nd and 5 here. Does Google have phonetic there?
It's Norwegian.
Chameland will go ahead and hand it off, and it'll be another run up the gut, this time by Cox, and he is just short of the first down. Let's hear Google will go ahead and pronounce that. Telmaland.
Telmaland.
We'll go with it. Is the J silent then?
Evidently.
Telmaland it is. We'll trust Google. We apologize if any family members are listening and we're butchering it. Minute 40 left here in the third quarter. 15 seconds left on the play clock as the Tigers get new instructions. 3rd and 1 here from the Crockett 26-yard line. Telmaland hands it off to Cox, and Cox gets to the 19-yard line into the red zone, picks up the first down for the Tigers.
Number 12, Curtis Cox, once again on the carry, tackled by number 89, Terry Brown.
Telmaland it is.
Dripping Springs working very methodically here, and have burned a lot of time off the clock.
We'll see if they're able to score before the final minute 8 run out in the third quarter. Telmaland in the shotgun. Cox, or excuse me, that's Crosby offset to his left. It's a quick pass out to the left side. The catch completed and picked up across the 10-yard line and down to the 6. Nice job by P.J. Howe. And that'll make it 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. End around and stopped on the end around in the backfield is Brock Bollinger. And 2nd and goal from the 6. No gain on the play coming up here, and 23 seconds left on the game clock, and I think that will be the final play of the third quarter. So after 3 complete, nobody scores in a quick-moving third quarter. The Dripping Springs Tigers lead the Crockett Cougars 42-7, and they will be content to move into the fourth quarter without going for it on second and goal from the 6. I'm Karl Schoening along with Michael Francis. Happy you joined us for the final Austin ISD game of the week for 2018. It's been a fun one. We've seen a lot of really good games this season, and most notably, as you talked about, that Austin homecoming game against Hayes where the final score was 48-47. That one I'll probably be watching back at some point because that was a fun one.
Oh, it was a very fun game to watch. Probably, and in my opinion, this is my 4th game to do with you so far this season. Definitely by far the best game that we've seen so far. This one looked very promising at the first. You come in, you get Dripping Springs scores. Crockett comes back, ties it up, and Drip scores again, and they haven't looked back since. And
and that was almost to be expected with a team that's
right.
Trying to perhaps give themselves an opportunity to finish first place in the district if the dominoes fall their way and Seguin were somehow lose their undefeated district record in the final game of the season.
Right, because Seguin's playing LBJ.
I suppose it would come down to head-to-head matchup in that case, so we'll see how that would end up. But probably finishing with the second-best record in 12-5, they will be these Tigers. Telmeland will hand it off and running around the left end looking for some space, diving for the end zone and stopped just short for the Tigers is
Brock.
That'll be Bollinger there who is unable to get into the end zone, but he does pick up 5 yards, makes it 3rd and goal from the 1. Timmerland gives it to Bollinger, and Bollinger dives in the end zone and loses the football. The football all the way out to the 10, and it looks like it's picked up by the Crockett Cougars to the 12-yard line.
It'll be interesting as he was diving, did he cross over the goal line?
They do not rule it a touchdown. They rule it a fumble recovered by the Crockett Cougars. It must have been punched out on that dive. It looked like he got in from my angle, but the officials down there on the sidelines much closer, I believe a flag came in and is being picked up by the referee, or something was being picked up by the referee near the 2-yard line. But either way, Crockett, the defense comes up big, gets a turnover, and sets up their offense with a 1st and 10 from their own 12. Baca to the right of Joseph Lopez, who's in the shotgun. Patrick Ray goes in motion left to right. It's a play-action pass out to Ray, and Ray takes it across the 15 to the 20, drags a defender with him to the 21-yard line after the tackle was made by Josh McMullen. And once again, I beg your pardon, that's Moss. The 5 and the 3 getting scrunched up in the middle there. Couldn't quite make out which number that was. It looked like a 3, but apparently it was Messiah Moss according to the PA. Ray goes in motion. This time it's a handoff to Andrew Jones. Jones picks up the necessary yard for the 1st down and gets it out to the 28-yard line. That time it was Ray going in motion. I could see the back of the jersey pretty well. Jones, though, gets the handoff and a new set of downs for Crockett. Ray gets the end around here, takes it around the left side, and will be stopped after picking up about half a stride. They'll give it to him to the 29. And I know the PA guy just said Messiah Moss, but this time I promise you it was Patrick Ray. It was Messiah Moss. I had 5 and 3 mixed up in terms of memory. That's on me. I beg your pardon, anybody tuning in. Last week it was a lot of Ray going in motion. Here it's a catch that falls incomplete as in and out of the hands to the intended receiver, Robert Daggerath. Or they go ahead and say that was Matthew Abel. And Abel, unable to drag it down, brings up 3rd and 9. Pesky memory how that works sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, you got to work fast. It's not as easy as people think, being able to do this.
And there is a spin and big gain on 3rd down. Churning his legs to the 35 is Andrew Jones, and the clock moves here at 9:22 in the 4th quarter. It's 4th down and 3, and the Cougars are going to go for it despite being at their own 35-yard line. These seniors on senior night only have so many possessions of football left, and they're trying to take advantage of it and get on the scoreboard at least one more time here as Andrew Jones tries to take it out to the left side, and he runs out of bounds and is stopped short. It'll be a turnover on downs at the 36-yard line. Dripping Springs takes over in Crockett territory.
Right at the 36-yard line.
Clock stops at 8:50 for the change of possession. And denied at the goal line were the Tigers on their previous possession. And
got you, and it looks like another new quarterback, Karl. Number 6.
That is Cameron O'Bannon, who has a couple touchdowns tonight as a receiver. Good eye there, Michael, as he will just hand it off to Scotty Crosby, and Crosby is hit at the line of scrimmage, brought down, no gain on the play.
Number 26, Scotty Crosby on the carry.
42-7, nobody has scored here in the second half as the Dripping Springs Tigers had an opportunity to do so at the end of the 3rd quarter and the start of this 4th quarter as they had a 1st and goal from the 6, were unable to capitalize, led to a fumble that was recovered by the Cougars, and that ensuing possession, a turnover on downs by the Cougars, leads us to this possession here, a handoff, and taking it outside to the right is Cox, across the 20 to the 15. He is stopped inside the 15. The Cougars in the red zone as the tackle was made by Guajardo, and a 1st and 10 from the 13 for the Dripping Springs Tigers.
Yeah, interesting to see, Karl. They actually have Telmaland playing in the slot.
Telmaland, a junior quarterback, so perhaps his, or junior athlete, I guess, at this point. They're also giving Cameron O'Bannon, a sophomore who's listed as a receiver and a quarterback, an opportunity here in the big victory. With 7:33 left, there's a false start on the left tackle. That'll back up the Tigers 5 yards.
Daniel Greiner making a rookie mistake. Yeah, he's a senior.
Yeah, just a little off balance. He fell forward and it was a little early. Clock picks back up, 7:30 left in the 4th. 1st and 15 from the 18-yard line. And a fumble here on the exchange between Cox and O'Bannon, and it's able to be a pickup for Cox, and he dives back, only loses a yard on what could have been a disastrous play. Brings up 2nd and 16 instead. Disastrous in a relative term of the play not being a turnover. The light mist continues to spray over Burger Stadium as the clock ticks at 6:50 left in the ball game. A handoff here, and taking it around the left side. Flag comes in as Cox trots into the end zone, but this one will probably be coming back. That was in the area of a hold around the 15-yard line. if that hold from the spot of the foul, it's 10-yard penalty. It was a flag that came in at the 15. So replay second down. The ball moves to the 25-yard line. Yard to gain is all the way down at the 4. So 2nd and 22. 6:30 left in the regular season. O'Bannon in the shotgun. He loses the ball as he went back to throw it. He was able to pick it up and unable to stay on his feet as he tried to evade the tackle. He falls to the ground for a loss back to the 33-yard line, and it was Terry Brown playing defensive end there, able to bring the pressure, and it's a 3rd and 30 now after the loss of 8. Ball back to the 34 is where they officially mark it.
Not far where they took possession.
Yeah, that's true. And it's obvious passing down here for O'Bannon in the shotgun. Play action. He fires it over the right, jumping up, making the catch, and losing the ball as he comes down on the floor, on the turf, is Ryan Davenport. But it was picked up by the offensive lineman Keith Bottles, and retaining possession are the Tigers to the, they mark him down at the 29 as they wipe off the ball with a 24 as they wipe off the ball with a towel, and makes it 4th and 21, a gain of 9 on the
They're going to
completion.
try to attempt a field goal, Karl.
Why not? Chapman, who we get the name from the PA guy, will go ahead and try it, and it is no good on the attempt from the, I'd say that was a 41-yard field goal attempt. It had distance, but couldn't quite go, and the ball goes back to the Crockett Cougars. 41 yards, though, and field goal, the only field goal attempt we've seen this evening. A compelling statement there if maybe it's in the 30s in the playoffs and they need a field goal. Trips left and single receiver to the right. It's a pass out to the flats, completed, and the pickup of 9 results in a fumble, and it picked up by the Tigers, and coming up with it is Carter King. And there's an injured player on the field for the Cougars. Clock stops here for the injury timeout at 4:33 left in the 4th quarter. Hate to see that this late in the game.
Yeah, you're kind of curious, is the field wet? People are starting to slip. Obviously, the ball came out several times here over the course of the past few plays.
Hopefully he is okay. As this late in the game and the season, you hate to see injuries anytime, but here at the end of that play and a turnover.
Well, this is a good time to bring up our sponsors, Minuteman Press and Georgetown Jewelry.
Yeah, big thanks to them here. It's been great having them as sponsors all season long for Austin ISD Thursday Night Football Game of the Week. It's been a pleasure working with you, Michael, as we have 4 games together this season. I know it was kind of sporadic there, as sprinkled in, and you got to see probably the best game of all of them as the rotating color analyst this year. So, yeah,
so you've had Chuck, Crazy,
and Russell Dowden.
Myself and Russell Dowden.
And those were good games. Believe McCallum and Glenn was a good game. Lightning Flash comes out here.
McCallum and Anderson. The Taco Shack Bowl.
The Taco Shack Bowl to start off the season was great.
Right.
21-20 McCallum victory over Anderson, and You know, that was
that was played at House Park, correct?
Yeah, and that was quite the game. That was a fun matchup. And, you know, there was a lightning flash right there as I was talking to you to the west side of the field. And with 4:33 left in the score, I don't know, and this injury that I hope the Cougar who is still down is okay.
And I'm looking to see if there's a beacon that's blinking. Typically, it'll be mounted on that building next to us. If lightning sets it off, there'll be that beacon will be blinking, and that'll halt play.
The injured Cougar able to get up and walk under his own power. So good to see Christian Rivera able to come off the field. And I assume that we're going to continue play here despite the lightning that I saw. It doesn't seem like anybody else noticed it. So once Rivera is able to come off the field on his own power, 4:33 remain in the Crockett's football season.
Yeah, it's the first lightning strike that I've seen on the evening.
And, you know, this is the final regular season game, a lot of valuable opportunity for these young guys to play, and last chance for the seniors to play, and only one, as you said, as we've noticed. So I assume they're just going to go ahead and let this finish out, and if another one comes in, we'll reevaluate. But it'll be 1st and 10 from the 34, a handoff to the back who tries to stretch it out to the right side for the Tigers. Jackson Simon unable to pick up any yards, but does get back to the line of scrimmage. Clock moving here, 4 minutes left in the fourth. Actually, they will rule it a loss of 1. So,
well, you're coming to the end of the season for some of these guys, and for some of these guys, it's going to be the end of their football careers altogether. And with Crockett,
here's a pass down the right side, incomplete, as Timmerland is looking for the receiver down the field. That was Garrett Betts, or excuse me, Ty Katz, and the flag is a offside, so that was a free play, and that will move the ball forward to the 29-yard line.
And it's a running clock.
Yeah, at this point in the game, I think the teams have a understanding of no more injuries, no more risk of it. Just go ahead and let the clock run out. That happens from time to time. 3 minutes left in the fourth, and Timmerland will get new instructions from the sidelines here on 2nd and 4. It's a handoff. Running around the right end is Jacob Cox, and Cox spins at the 6 and is able to fight forward to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal.
I think that might have been Jackson Simon.
You're right, it is Simon there who comes in 19, not 10. The eyesight failing me this time as the clock stops at 2:42 to move the chains and picks back up once the marker comes down to the 5-yard line. Simon in the backfield with Timmerland. 2 receivers on both sides. 1st and goal from the 5. And they hand off to Simon. Simon runs off his right guard and is able to fight to the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 2. Dripping Springs looking to be the team to score first here in the second half, leading by 35 points. 2 minutes left in the fourth. Timmerland in the shotgun. Simon to his left. Simon gets the give and is hit at the line of scrimmage and forced back. And the forward progress mark to about the half-yard line. So half a stride there given. And 3rd and goal from the 1.5. I imagine this might be one more give to Jackson Simon, the senior running back. Fullback goes in motion, lines up on the left end, and it's a zone read, and running is Simon. He is hit at the goal line and falls into the end zone for a Tigers touchdown. 48-7, Dripping Springs adds on to their lead and becomes the first team to score in the second half. 1:10 left in the fourth quarter.
It's like you're going to have a guy that actually has a name on the roster kicking this time, number 39.
Yeah, Jake Schneider will go ahead and tee up the point after attempt. Whistles blow it dead before he gets a chance, though, and on the defense, Crockett will go ahead and make this half the distance to the goal. So from the 1 3/4 yard line instead of the 2.5. Snyder will go ahead and try it again. And he's able to sneak this one over the upright and the crossbar and makes it 49-7. So a commanding lead here by Dripping Springs, as this game was once tied at 7 back in the first half, and since then Dripping Springs has gone unanswered, scoring here for their first time in the second half after that 1 yard Simon run. And as the mist thickens, the final 1:10 left in the regular season. And I think Guajardo will still go back there. Yeah, he'll be back deep to receive this kickoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, with 1:10 left in the game, please be aware that there is bad weather in the area. We ask that you please quickly exit the field and thank you for coming.
They say the announcement right there, if you didn't catch it, is that there's bad weather in the area with 1:10 left. They'd like everybody to leave in a timely manner. Luckily, we have the SHN broadcast in a box, so we can pack up rather quickly.
Yeah, we can
here.
be out quick.
Any
Update
on
on
Georgetown
Georgetown Connolly. As of 14 minutes ago, Fanstand ATX reports that the Eagles lead 34-15.
Because of the bad weather warning and the final minute 10, I believe they're just going to go ahead and call this game and send everybody into the locker rooms.
So evidently the beacon went off, and they're sending the students to, I can't imagine they're going to.
I doubt they come back out to play the final minute 10
Yeah, I'm
here.
looking for the head umpire to give the signal to run the clock and call the game.
Yeah, that is the signal to run the clock, and this ball game will be finished without any plays, as the final score, the Dripping Springs Tigers 49, the Crockett Cougars 7. That is the final score, as there will not be any more kickoffs, and the Tigers do get one score in the second half, and the Cougars, who tied this ball game up at 7, unable to score the rest of the game. You get to see a good playoff team there in Dripping Springs. Michael, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I just want to give a big congratulations to the Dripping Spring Tigers in that they represent District 12 5A, which is predominantly laden with Austin ISD schools. Wish them luck, and wish the seniors of Crockett High School the best of luck with their future endeavors. And you saw a good game for the first few minutes that they were going back and forth, and unfortunately it was just too much horsepower for Crockett to overcome with the Dripping Spring Tigers. So my hat's off to them and wish them the best of luck throughout their playoffs coming up within the next week or so.
Yeah, they have a pace that could be hard for teams to keep up with. Well, for Michael Francis, I'm Karl Schoening. One final thanks to our sponsors this season, Georgetown Jewelry and Minuteman Press, for sponsoring AISD Thursday Night Football, the game of the week that is aired live here on YouTube. Hope to do it again next season. I'm Karl Schoening.